Welcome back to the JCPod, partnered with Stare Down Sports. Stare Down, greatness, and man. The sub teams show some greatness this weekend. We had some truly interesting, is the best way to put it, games this weekend as a couple unexpected teams found ways to win. Two of them on Monday night. And then in college football, we had our first, NFL, we had our first firing of the season. For college, we had our, technically first massive firing of the season, but one of the few. We had a decent amount of firings in college, but we have a lot to talk about today. A lot to react to. Should be a fun one. We're going to go over NFL first, followed up with college football. So let's just hop right into the NFL Week 6 reactions and news. So for Week 6, Thursday night game, Giants beat the Eagles. We don't need to go into it too much because at this point the game was 5 days ago, but 34-17 win for the Giants. I don't know if it's just a situation where the Eagles just didn't come in and take them as seriously. A lot of weird stuff going on with the Eagles. I mean, they won 20 in a row before they lost their last two. So I mean, it's not like they've been losing for forever, but it's starting to get to that point now where just stuff's getting weird. It's just weird is the best way to put it. So they're just a team that it's like I'm assuming most of us still expect them to be here at the end of the season. So it's a team that we just got to keep an eye on to see how long it takes them to get some stuff fixed. But it is a bit concerning, I will admit, because you look at it a little bit, it's like, and that's Giant losing to who'd they lose to last week? Losing to the Broncos, it's like, oh, okay, it wasn't a horrible loss, kind of blew the lead, but not horrible. Then you lose to the Giants, losing the way they did, and it's just kind of like, especially the way they played offensively, you're just like, what the hell is that? So like I said, hopefully they can figure it out, but overall, yeah, bit of a struggle. Speaking of struggle, my lord, was this a struggle to watch. Broncos win 13-11 against the Jets. I mean, Justin Fields, man, -10 total net passing yards. He had 45 actual passing yards. He took 55 yards in sacks. I mean, that is not good, boy. Denver's Broncos defense really came out to play. They played awesome. The Jets defense, they also played really. I mean, they played really good. I mean, they got turnover almost right away to start off the game, and they just offensively, they are just a nightmare right now. Garrett Wilson is injured, and he's going to miss a couple weeks with a knee injury now. Justin Fields just missed the ball behind him. I mean, Justin Fields had a really bad game, and now he's had a couple decent games, a couple mad games, a couple bad games. So there's no, I guess the Jets have come out and said it already, but there's no questions about switching the quarterback. But you start to get there and wonder a little bit if this continues. I mean, they're 0-6. Something has to change. I mean, I know Aaron Glenn is still trying to put in his culture and everything, and they're trying to set the foundation up for stuff. But, I mean, I think the trade deadline's 2 or 3 weeks from now, so it's going to be... The Jets, I'm assuming, are sellers. It's going to be interesting to see if they sell off some of those pass rushers people have been talking about. Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips. But, man, for the Broncos, I mean, Bo Nix didn't play the best. I mean, he was 19 of 30 for 174 and a touchdown. But, like I said, when the other quarterback is 9 of 17 for 45 yards, hard to critique, yeah. But overall, I mean, Broncos just didn't play good offensively. It was just a bad game. So, bad game for Bo. Everybody else really kind of had a bad game. Running the ball wasn't good. I'll give some credit to the defense. They did play a very tough defense. The Jets defense did play really good, but Broncos just played bad in that game. They just, and I wanted one of those things. They take the game seriously. Were they up for the game? I mean, it was a low overseas game. You would think they would take it seriously because they're professional athletes. I don't know. It's just a weird game, but the Broncos come out with the win. The Jets come out with the loss, and a lot more question for the Jets than we do have the Broncos. I think a lot of people are just going to chalk it up to the Broncos having a bad game. So, yeah, as for the Jets, though, like I said, 0-6, you got to wonder when some changes are going to start coming and what even those changes are going to be and what can they even change at this point because, yeah, they ain't too good. Colts, Cardinals. Colts win 31-27. This was just a game where, I mean, you want to talk about some just bad voodoo before the game. Anthony Richardson doing band workouts, fractured his orbital bone. He's going to be out for a while. As for Tre'Davious Ward, he got a concussion because there's a video that came out if you watch the pregame warm-ups. Drew Ogletree and him basically just collide into each other. Pretty full speed, especially for Tre'Davious Ward. So, he's concussed. Probably going to miss this upcoming week, which really sucks. Kenny Moore's still out with his Achilles issues. I mean, the Colts DBs were destroyed in this game, basically. And this injury happened so early, so close to game time, that the Colts couldn't call up any other DBs, so they're very limited in their DBs. They're starting a rookie from Tulane who didn't play horrible. There's a couple plays where you're like, not the best. But overall, Colts ended up winning, like I said, 31-27. As I called him during the game, Jacoby Brissett, 27 for 44, 320 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Did not play horrible at all. This was just a game where it's like Colts defensively. There's a lot of people critiquing the Colts defense. They had no DBs. That's the way I'm looking. They basically had no DBs, so it would make sense. I mean, their DB room is by far the most injured room. Linebacker-wise, linebackers aren't bad, but there's plays here and there where it's just like one play is amazing, and then the next play is just like, Zaire, what are we doing? Jermaine Pratt, what are we doing? I could go name every linebacker in the room, but like I said, I would say it's like a 2-to-3 ratio where it's like 2 great plays, 1 play you're kind of like, well, what was that? But overall, like I said, I think their defense is a little bit better than some people are giving it credit for. I just chalk it up, like I said, they really didn't have any DBs, so not having any DBs, they were getting thrown on a little bit. But Jonathan Taylor, 21 for 123, has another touchdown again, leading the league in the NFL. For those of you who don't know, he is 5th all-time in the NFL when it comes to rush yards per game. He's averaging, I think it's 90.8 yards per game. I don't know what that changed after this game, but he's just, at this point, he has to be one of the most underrated backs in the league. I feel like not too many people talk about him at all. I mean, I think for the NFL's first team, they gave it out to, I don't know, it was like first team all whatever. It was some graphic I saw where they gave it out to Bijan Jameer. It's like, Jonathan Taylor is leading the NFL. He was leading the NFL in touchdowns. I don't know if he still is, but he's also leading the league in rushing, and they're just getting no credit for it. It's, like I said, and then you watch the game that Bijan had last night on Monday night. It's just like, you can understand, yeah, Bijan's pretty good. But Jonathan Taylor, he's just as good, if not maybe even better. I don't want to put those two in an argument. They're two amazingly great backs, but like I said, it's watching Jonathan Taylor this season's just been awesome because like this team has a whole different vibe, and now that they're back to winning, like you saw him do this against some of the bad teams, and Colts were like barely eking out wins, and now it's like in games where it like really matters, they're able to do this like all the time instead of being like, oh, they only do it once or twice on a couple of drives. Like every time the Cardinals scored and the Colts needed to answer, they answered, and Jonathan Taylor, like I said, was the one who iced the game. I didn't say that, but he did ice the game. He made just another good game by him. 21 for 123. I mean, receiving wise, Tyler Warren was great again. He's just going to continue to be good. Now with Ibuka dealing with some injuries, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Offensive Rookie of the Year. I'm wondering if my bet's back in play. But like I said, I mean, the Cardinals put up a good fight, but the Colts were able to pull off the win. And it was, like I said, Colts improved to 5-1. They are now, I think, the number 1 overall seed in the AFC, which is like, whoa. I mean, those of you who followed me all throughout the offseason, you've been following for a while, like, you understand how I've been about the Colts. Like, it's been some real highs where it's like, this team, I know this team's better than they're playing, this team's good. Been some real lows, like we got to even last year, where it's like, all right, we're going to come into the season, we're going to reevaluate them, and I'm going to try not to be as hardcore of a fan as I have been, but then they do shit like this, and they're 5-1, it's like, all right, I'm back. And, I mean, you want to look at their schedule a little bit going forward. I mean, they just played the Cardinals, Chargers this week, Titans next week, Steelers, Falcons, bye, Chiefs, Texans, Jaguars, Seahawks, 49ers, Jaguars, Texans. So their second half of the schedule starts to get a little bit tough, but they've done a really good job. Like, they basically won the games they should have won. And when I was going over their schedule this offseason, for those of you who also listen as well, I said, like, hey, this team can win 10 to 11 games based on their schedule. Like, they have some very winnable games early on. Now, the second, don't get me wrong, at this point with how the Texans are playing, good chance they at least split those Texan games. They'll probably split with the Jags, I would assume, as well. Seahawks, 49ers, pretty good teams, but who knows what the 49ers are going to be at that point in the season with how injured they are. Chiefs, obviously, are a good team. Steelers are a good team this year. Falcons. That's the overseas game, so that's going to be really interesting. But, like I said, I mean, just overall, the Colts are a really good team, and it's awesome. It's just awesome, man. As a guy who's been watching their roster and be like, man, they have some good players. Why can't they just figure it out? It's been like, quarterback and tight end. Got those two positions solidified now. It's looking really good. And as for the Cardinals, crazy to think they were what? I think they were 2-1 at one point. Start off the season, 2-1. They've lost 4 straight 2-0 to 2-4. They're fourth in the NFC West. Kyler potentially might miss next week's games. It's falling apart for them, so they need to really get their season back on the rails a little bit. Next thing we'll talk about, Rams, Ravens. Not too much to go into in this game because Rams won 17-3. Cooper Rush gets benched for Tyler Huntley at one point, which I guess Cooper Rush did end up starting. Ravens are 1-5. They're going on their bye now, and they get Lamar back next after the bye. So let's just see if they can get some bounce. Let's just see if they can bounce back. I mean, their defense is completely ravaged with injuries. Lamar was out for these couple weeks. Now they're all past that. Let's just see. We'll see them in 2 weeks. We'll come back to the Ravens 2 weeks. As for the the Rams, crazy to think they're 4-2, third in the NFC West. Pretty sure it's a 3-way tie though, but crazy to think they're third in the NFC West. They won 17-3. Kyron Williams scores again. The biggest, not the best of games offensively. Matt Stafford 17 for 26 for 181. I mean, they could have. This is just one of those ones where it's kind of shocking they didn't just absolutely blow them out based on how other teams were doing it. But maybe it's one of those things where, watching the game, the Ravens defense didn't play the best, but they definitely seemed like they had a little bit more spirit and they were fighting a little bit harder than the last couple weeks. Also, Puka Nacua, dealing with an ankle injury, seems like he might be out potentially for a couple weeks. I need to reread the news to see. We'll talk about it more in the news because I think I have an article saved where it lets me know if that's the case or not. But yeah, that's a tough loss for the Rams. They lose Puka Nacua, and now they're going overseas to take on the Jaguars. That's gonna be a tough game. Hopefully, it's a good London game because these London games have been kind of. We'll skip to this game because I had it saved for. Yeah, this was an afternoon game, but I'm going to talk about it now just because I had it score watched when I was doing some other stuff. Just potentially because I think it went off the screen. It went off the red zone screens early, and I won't lie to you, I didn't get NFL ticket this year, so I don't have the individual games. So yeah, it wasn't on TV, so I had to score watch it. So we'll just talk about this game because it was up in my whatever you call it. It was just based on the list that I have of the games. It's up there a little bit more. 30-19. Sorry, I was trying to find the score. Buccaneers improved to 5-1. Believe this was 49ers fall to 4-2. This was a battle for the number one seed in the NFC, and now officially the Buccaneers are your number one seed in the NFC, and your Indianapolis Colts are the number one seed in the AFC. But the Buccaneers, they win 30-19. Baker just has an absolutely insane run on third down where he ducks between like two sacks, runs forwards, breaks a tackle of another guy, dives forward for a first down. Has a little moment where it's like, okay, yeah, he's a guy. And we already knew he was a guy, but that was one of those moments where it's like, okay, he might be like, and I guess like saying he's a guy, it's like, that might be an MVP guy this season. We'll talk, I guess we'll skip ahead a little bit. We'll jump ahead just a tad bit to talk about some, betting-wise stuff. Due to the loss with the Bills and Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, I believe they're tied at plus 350 for MVP odds. I think Patrick Mahomes has the number one odds, which is just... I heard somebody say they're doing that to get casual people to either bet or get into football, which wouldn't shock me totally. But I think truly right now the leader in the clubhouse when it comes to MVP is Baker Mayfield. Patrick Mahomes plus 200. Josh Allen is plus 300. He was plus 350. Baker Mayfield's plus 350. Drake May plus 1,000. I kind of like Drake May at those odds, but his has been dropping a little bit. Either way, Baker Mayfield, like I said, he's plus 300. He was plus 1,300 a couple weeks ago. I believe he's like plus 2,000 a week or so before that. But I jumped in on him at plus 1,300 because, man, this guy's a guy. Like I said, Ibuka went out with injury, so he's throwing to Sterling Shepard, Cameron Johnson, Tez Johnson, Sterling Shepard. I think I already said his name. Kate Otten. He's usually there, though. But he's throwing a lot of the backup wide receivers, and he still looks really good. What was his final stat line? 17 for 23, 256, 2 touchdowns. He had 139 passer rating. Rashad White looked pretty good on the ground. Mac Jones threw for 347 in their loss. But overall for the 49ers, the biggest thing is this was a good battle between two teams, but with how many injuries the 49ers are dealing with, they just got beat a little bit there. So that kind of hurt them as the game went on because they lost Fred Warner. And he went out with a very, very... best way to put it, Dak Prescott from 2 years ago, I think. Whenever Dak had his ankle injury, same exact thing basically, except it wasn't a slide. Kind of got rolled. I think it was rolled up on. I vaguely remember seeing the replay of it, whatever it was. It was completely nasty. I won't lie to you though, but ankle sideways, completely broken. He was in an air cast, getting carted off the field. Excuse me. So yeah, they lost Fred Warner for the year. Now they lost Nick Bosa for the year. Defensively, I mean, this team just can't escape the injuries, and you got the Ravens, who we thought were going to be the team from hell. The 49ers are being like, nah. That's still our title, man. It's just crazy, man. Like, it's on, like, I hate to laugh, but it's almost laughable. Just like, how do they keep getting this injured? Like, it's truly unbelievable. Like, is it a practice field thing? Is it a way they practice? Like, it's because at a certain point, it's like, man, just all these guys are just getting injured. I mean, some of them are a little bit older, yes, but it's like, sheesh, man. Like I said, the overall shout to the Buccaneers. They lost a decent amount of guys injury-wise, because I think going in next week, they're without Ibuka. I think they're going to be without somebody else. I can't think of who else it is, but somebody else they might be missing as well. And then you got, I think Mike Evans might be coming back soon, though, so it's at least positive there. But like I said, great win for the Bucs. Great win for the Bucs. Steelers, they went 23-9. Dylan Gabriel was 29 for 52 for 221. I think that's all we need to talk about this game when it comes to the Browns. They let Dylan Gabriel against the Pittsburgh Steelers throw 52 times. I mean, I don't get what they're doing. It makes no sense to me. I wouldn't be shocked if we see Shedeur at some point here soon. A lot of Dylan Gabriel stuff was short, so it's like, the only reason I say we're going to see Shedeur is potentially because they're just going to want to try him out to see a look at this point, because no offense to Dylan Gabriel, he's not horrible, but it's not making, I mean, it's better than Joe Flacco the way he was playing this season with them, but not the best overall. But for the winners, Aaron Rodgers, 235, 2 touchdowns. Rushing-wise, Jalen Warren had 11 for 52 as he's getting back from injury. DK, 4 receptions for 95 yards and a touchdown. Very nice game from DK, and I guess he should have had another bomb touchdown as well. I missed this play, I'll admit. But Aaron Rodgers apparently missed him short by a good amount of yards from what I heard. Like I said, I sadly missed the play, but yeah, DK had an amazing game. Steelers look really good. They're 5-1, 4-1, excuse me, which is awesome for them because they have their schedule becomes tough here soon. You got Bengals, Packers, Colts, Chargers, Bengals, Bears, Bills, Ravens, Dolphins, Lions, Browns, Ravens. You know what? Remember at the beginning of the year when I said they have a horrendous second half of the schedule? Let's go over this real quick, just very, very briefly. They're playing the Bengals with Joe Flacco. That could be an issue. We'll see. Packers, yeah, that game might be an issue. Colts, game might be an issue. Colts are pretty good. Chargers, they might be able to beat the Chargers the way the Chargers have been playing, especially with the injuries they're dealing with. But that'll be November 9th by that point, so maybe some stuff's changed. Bengals, they play the Bengals again at home. I would assume they win that one. They play at Chicago, might give them issues. Buffalo, maybe could give them issues. But this was a stretch. Like Ravens, I guess Lamar might be back, so that sucks for them. They got to play Lamar when he might be back. But deal with their injuries might not be as bad. Dolphins, winnable for sure. Lions, going to be tough. Browns, for sure, winnable. Ravens again. So, I mean, you look at the schedule, and all of a sudden it's like, based on the injuries and some of the stuff, it's like, they might be pretty good. And by them, I mean the Steelers. I won't lie to you. I don't recommend this to anybody. I just did it myself because of the odds. But Aaron Rodgers for MVP. 10 to win 1,000, I believe it is, for the odds. I sprinkled a $10 bill on it. Won't lie to you. I don't think it's going to hit, but that's just one of those things where it's like maybe I can cash it out in a couple weeks when I get better odds. Because there's a good chance, looking at their schedule, that they might be like 8 and like by week 11, they could be, what is that? I mean, that'd be 2 losses, 3 losses. I mean, you're looking at a team with only 4 or 5 losses and like 8 to 9 wins by that point. I mean, this Steelers team might be sneaking good. And as for the Browns, like I said, I just don't know what they are at this point. They just got, especially with the whole QB situation, traded away Joe Flacco. They're 1-5. I mean, this is a team that probably isn't going to do too much this year, but it's like I just don't know what they're building towards either at this point. I don't know that they have really. I just don't know what's expected from them. I will lie to you. Like, I wouldn't be. If Deshaun Watson starts next year, That one would probably shock me. But if they have a new quarterback starting next year, wouldn't be shocked. If it's Shador or Dylan Gabriel, wouldn't shock me. I mean, they have some pieces in place. Quinshon Judkins is good. That defense seems like it's pretty good again, but Browns ain't good. Is there any other... Sorry, these are all decent games. Okay. Seahawks-Jags. This one became 20-12. The Jaguars scored a touchdown late with 13 minutes in the fourth quarter to not convert the 2-point. But Seahawks went on the road. I believe their head coach now is 10 of 11 on the road he's won, which is just insane how good of a road team this is. The Jags, they just finally... I'll admit, they finally had the game that I've been betting against them for the last 3 damn weeks. They have gotten my ass with the 49ers, with the Chiefs, and then against the Seahawks, they finally had the game. This was the game I expected them to have a couple weeks ago. So the fact that it took them this long to have it, I am impressed by them for that aspect of it. But when you look at the Jags, Trevor Lawrence did not play good. 27 for 42, 258, and 2 touchdowns. I feel like that is very misleading stats, especially the fact that he threw 42 times. That's just probably way too many. Travis Etienne was 12 for 27. I mean, Jackson Smith and Jigba, though, 8 for 162 and 1. Brian Thomas had 8 for 90 and 1, so he came back a little bit as well. But overall, this was just an awesome game by the Seahawks. JSN proving himself to be a guy. Kenneth Walker, they probably should give him a bit more carries. They're giving Charbonnet a little bit more than Kenneth, and based on the stats and everything, it seems like he's not going well. But you got to think they have something in mind there. You would think, but Mike McDonald, I like the way he's been coaching, man. He is starting to, I think he's improving game after game, getting better and better. And overall, this was an awesome game by Sam Darnold as well. I mean, maybe he is good. Maybe the Jets just derailed his career a lot. And if you look at the way the New York teams are going, especially the Jets, it's like, yeah, I mean, obviously for the longest time we knew the quarterback wasn't the problem there. If you paid close enough attention and you were able to see through some of the stuff, you'd realize, it's not always the quarterback. I mean, some quarterbacks, don't get me wrong, weren't the best, but a lot more than them going on up there. And now you look at him elsewhere. Wow, he's pretty good, man. And the Seahawks, they are second place in the NFC West. Like I said, 3-way tie, and it's looking like it's going to be between eventually, I think the injuries are just too much for the 49ers. So, my opinion is between the Seahawks and the Rams for that division right now, and that's going to be pretty exciting race. Chargers, they went 29-27 against the Dolphins. Dolphins scored 14 points in the fourth quarter. It looked like they were actually going to make a comeback and win the game. Darren Waller scored with 46 seconds left. They're able to take the lead. Defense just needs to get a stop, and they do not. Awesome play by Ladd McConkey. And if you watch Hassan Haskins on it, he makes 2 or 3 amazing blocks. Blocks somebody in the backfield. Able to catch up to the wide receiver at one point. Block somebody behind him so he can keep running for even more. Ladd McConkey had an awesome game. He and Allen been a little bit quiet these last 3 weeks. So it's curious to see if that's a older guy thing or if that's just they haven't needed him as much. Kimani Vidal, 18 for 124. Shout out to him. He was toting that thing on the ground against them. Devon Achane had for 16 for 128 and 2 touchdowns. 205 passing, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. But I think the biggest thing, first off, is the fact that the Dolphins gave up all that. They looked like they were going to win it, and then they don't. But they are at least fighting for Mike McDaniel, so you got to think that's going to make him keep his job just a little bit longer. They truly could have potentially won this game. Could have truly potentially. You're in a tough spot when you hear that. But I think the biggest thing coming out of all this is what Tua said in the media. Won't get into it too much, but you just hear stuff like that. It's like, and then Mike McDaniel came out, and now he's like, yeah, Tua probably shouldn't go on the podium and say that stuff. So, I mean, it's just, I don't want to say culture-wise, but just locker room-wise, this team seems like it's a bit of a mess. You got to wonder if they're going to be sellers. They're 1-5, somehow only 3rd in the AFC East. Oh, yeah, the Jets. But, man, like I said, they're at least fighting for the coach a little bit, but they stink. They really stink, man. As for the Chargers, injuries are really starting to get them a little bit, too. So they just need to, I think, try to hang on as long as they can until they get some of these guys back. Because, yeah, I mean, they're, I think, missing both tackles. They're missing a Marion Hampton. Quentin Johnson didn't play in that game because of injury. So, I mean, they're just another team that's getting banged up. Cowboys, Panthers.
They weren't buckled up.
And them boys were not buckled up. My God. Rico Dowdle, man. Shout out to that boy Rico Dowdle. He told them boys to buckle up, and them boys rode in the car. No seatbelt on at all, and man, that was a wreckage. I mean, I think it was 200 total yards, but 30 carries, 183 yards. I mean, absolutely just running all over the Cowboys. And if you watch, like, the scariest part about this game, like I said, Panthers win 30-27. Let me go over some other. But, man, Ted McMillan, he had 3 receptions for 29 yards. 2 of those were touchdowns, so shout out to Ted McMillan. George Pickens had 9 for 168 and a touchdown. That guy's going to get him some money in the offseason. CeeDee Lamb injury might not be the best thing for the Cowboys, but it's been really good for George Pickens because that boy going to get paid, man. Bryce Young, 17 for 25, 199, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Dak, 25 for 34, 261, 3 touchdowns. I think there's a stat that, like, what Dak's doing and not winning games is, like, the first time it's ever happened. So, like, this defense is just absolutely horrible. And like I said, them boys were not buckled up. 30 carries for 183 yards by Rico Dowdle. And like I said, he was running all over him. And the main point I wanted to get to, the offensive line. If you watch back, I didn't even realize this watching the game. Like, I knew it was bad, obviously, but there was so much other stuff going on. I wasn't solely focused on it. Then you rewatch it back. That offensive line, especially on the double teams, especially, they were getting so much push on the Cowboys. I forget who said it. Somebody said that's like shit you see in college, and it's like that is damn near high school. Like, they were driving these guys back. And these are NFL athletes, and they're getting driven back by the Panthers' offensive line, allowing room for Rico Dowdle. I am very curious to see how this RB room is going to shape up when Chuba Hubbard gets back. It at least has to be a 50-50 timeshare, right? You just can't get a guy like this off the field. And I thought one of the announcers brought up a great point. He seems like a guy, as the more carries you get him, he really starts to get rolling. And, I mean, you can see what happens. He's running like a hungry dog. And I think there's a stat his last 10 games that he's basically on pace for like 2,000 yards. So it's like, shout out that man Rico. He is running all over the field. Ran all over the Dolphins, ran all over the Cowboys. Panthers are 3-3. I think I saw stat. This is like the first time they're over 500 in like 1,500 days almost or something like that. Shout out to Panthers fans, man, because this is the thing I'll admit. It got to a point where I think it was either last year, I think it was a little bit last year, where it's like, okay, so this team's not going to be horrible forever, but you can see some flashes here and there. It's just like, man, are they ever going to figure it out? And hey, I'm not saying they figured it out just yet, because the Cowboys' defense is absolutely atrocious, but they might be starting to turn that leaf around, because so far, people are saying this is the biggest win of Canales' career. I think I'd agree. This is a team that, like, the Panthers just need good things to happen for them, so it's just awesome, like I said, to see that they're winning. First time over 500 in so long. Like, it's nice to see good things happen to them, man. That's a franchise that, like the Jets, a lot of them, they deserve a little bit of happiness, man. It's been some rough times. That's the Cowboys, 2-3-1 now. That defense is just going to get murdered in all these games. Man, it would. But I guess you can't say much because Micah Parsons isn't doing too much for the Packers. I mean, like stat-wise, he hasn't been super amazing, so it's just like, who's really winning that trade? Patriots, Saints, Drake May, man, that guy is a dog. He is so good. 18 for 26, 261, 3 passing touchdowns. He had another bomb touchdown taken away. This game was, I think the biggest thing about this game was the controversy with the officiating. Apparently there was multiple horrible calls there's some really questionable calls. Like, won't lie to you, ones that make you go, all right, if they were going to rig the NFL, this might be how they do it. This might be some of the prototyping. It was a, overall, like I said, great win by the Patriots. Saints, they were, like, hanging around a bit. I just don't know. They were down, 14, 21, 22, 22-16 at half, and then, I mean, both teams scored a field goal in the second half, so it's like there was a little bit of fight from the Saints a bit, but overall the Patriots were just able to keep them shoved down, and like I said, Drake May is just going to be a guy, man. He, week by week by week, he just gets better and better and better and better and better. Drake May was 7 for 8 with 3 touchdowns versus pressure, so that's an awesome thing to do for the young guys because usually pressure can scare them. He's starting to see it a little bit, so it's like, he might be scary. And the stat I forgot to talk about with Trevor Lawrence, by the way, before we move on to the next game. Pressured on 55% of his dropbacks, which was 7. Not good. No, it wasn't 7, sorry. I was going to read the number. I'm like, I'm not actually too confident in that number, so I won't say it, but it was 55% of his dropbacks. So Not great, and I think that's not overall. I think it's a specific stat, but I heard it, and I just wanted to bring it up because it's just like, man, that kind of shows with how not too great he played in the last game. Raiders, Titans. Raiders win 20-10. I don't need to get too much of this game. This game was a snoozer. At one point, it started to look like, man, the Titans are actually going to start coming back, but the Raiders were able to win it. Max Crosby had 2 sacks. Raiders in their 4-game losing streak. Titans fire their head coach, which is absolutely insane. Just because they... And it's only... I only say it's insane because I feel like it's very convenient that they do it before they play the Titans. And... I don't know. Then there was stuff with the press conference where the owner wasn't there. I don't want to get too much into it because obviously the owner could have been at like a... Could have been at like a charity, could have been at a sponsored event they needed to go to or whatever, but not seeing the owner there when they fired the coach and it was the other 2 dudes just kind of like, not the greatest look for this organization who's had a lot of questionable decisions coming from up top lately, especially with the firing of Mike Vrabel. But the big set I want to talk about, the last 4 QBs taken and 1 overall have seen their head coach fired during their rookie campaigns. So 2021 it was Trevor Lawrence, Bryce Young in 2023, Caleb Williams last year, Cam Ward this year. I believe 6 of the last 8 number 1 overall picks had their head coach fired in the first year, and that's just not good for development of QBs in general. Just sets these guys behind. And then once they get set behind, I mean, we've seen it with Baker Mayfield, Trevor Lawrence, Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones. I mean, we're dealing with that right now with the characters. When you just set them behind so much, then you learn so much. Caleb Williams is dealing with it a little bit now, where you just get so many different systems your first year. It's like, it's just impossible, almost impossible to set you up for success when it's just change. And it's not like, I wouldn't say good change, but it's change, and then it's like, maybe some success, but not the best, and then it's like, all right, we're changing it again. It's not great for some of these young guys, man. So I just hope for Cam Ward. I mean, the next guy's going to be in there. It's going to be focusing on him. Very curious to see who they go after, honestly. 2 teams on bye, by the way. Texans are in Minnesota. Bengals, 18. Packers, 27. Defense for the Packers, didn't play the best. I won't lie to you. That defense, I thought was going to be a lot better than they have been. I mean, they gave up a very garbage touchdown to Jamar Chase, which, to be fair, on that touchdown, Jamar Chase, my God, that guy's a man. But overall for the Packers, like I said, I think the defense is still good, but it's just overall, it's just like, man, I thought it'd be a little bit better. Joe Flacco definitely was an improvement over Jake Browning. He was able to at least force feed Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to get them the ball a lot more and give them a lot more chances. Jake Browning just wasn't doing that. At least Joe Flacco, he will force feed them even if he throws a couple picks. So, great win by the Packers overall. I don't have too many thoughts on this game. I mean, they win by 11. They don't cover, but I don't think that's too shocking. 14.5 is a lot of points. And, yeah, I'm just not too shocked they didn't cover. I thought they were going to win. They won by They almost won by double digits. Good win for them. Could have been better, yes. Defense could have played a little bit better. Josh Jacobs had 2 touchdowns. He played good, but I'm not going to nitpick this win overall for the Packers. I thought it was a pretty good win by them. Sunday Night Football. Chiefs, 7:30. Lions, 17. The Chiefs are back, aren't they? They looked really good on Monday night. I mean, Patrick Mahomes starting to look like his old self a little bit. Leading team in rushing so far. Not good, but 22 of 30 for 257 and 3 touchdowns is pretty good. I think he added in 1 rushing as well. They just offensively looked awesome. Defensively, they were able to hold the Lions down. I mean, it was almost predictable, I want to say. Like, I mean, I feel like a lot of people, especially if you know football well enough, the way the Chiefs played last week, the line was minus 2.5. I think a lot of people, like, you'll see it in Pickem when I talk about it. I even switched my pick back because it's like, as the weekend goes on, you just go like, there's no way the Chiefs are losing out, are they? There's just no way they're losing. Now, I'll admit, 30-17, like, that's a great win for them. I thought they were going to at least win maybe by 3-7 if they were going to win, but to win by 13 and win the way they did, yeah. And like I said, you could just, as the weekend goes on, you just start getting there where it's like, I probably should take the Chiefs, shouldn't I? Probably should. And the good thing for the Chiefs, they get Rashee Rice back this week, so that should probably be a huge addition for them and a much-needed weapon to get back in their offense. A doubleheader on Monday night, 2 games. Bears win 25-24. Falcons win 24-14. I can't talk about the Falcons or the Bears enough, so I'm going to talk about them briefly together. As for the As for the Bears, man, I give them credit for hanging around and be able to win that game. It looks like they were down and out. Commanders probably should have won that. Bad fumble by Jaden Daniels. Just like, of course. And as a guy who's been on a bit of a skid, personally, I mean, I've been giving out decent bets. They haven't been doing too bad. But some of the side bet, like, I didn't give out Commanders. Ended up getting Commanders money line late. I just had some bad dumb luck on some shit. So the second he fumbled the ball, you're just like, damn. So shout out to the Bears for winning that game, like I said. Great win for them. That was a statement win. Not like a massive statement win, but that was an awesome statement win for the Bears who, like I said, were down. Able to come back and win. They were up, had the lead, gave it up, able to reclaim it and win. And overall, just like it's starting to seem like Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams are starting to click together a little bit. And that would be really good for the Bears. Because I'll admit, I didn't think they'd win this game. This was a game now where it's like, okay. Like the Commanders beat the Chargers last week. It's like, let me reevaluate these teams. I'll admit. For the Bears, it's like, okay. They are 3-2, but it's like, I'll start taking them a bit more seriously now. Like, I'll start actually having respect in their name and just, like, either auto-fading them or not just looking at their games. It's like, starting to look like, I might just, I can't say it. I might bet on the Bears. Oh! I don't know if I'll get there yet, but, man. They're looking decent. As for the other game, Falcons 24, Bills 14. I mean, shout out to the Falcons, man. A lot of experts were saying like this was going to be a tough matchup for the Bills, and Bijan made it that way. Bijan is just—he's so good at football, man. As a guy who really needed the Bill, I had a 7-leg teaser that would have paid me $350. As a guy who had the Bills plus 1.5 in that teaser, watching Bijan just destroy them, like it was one of those things where it's like, oh, the Bills are done, like. It was very early for me where I knew, like, oh, the Bills aren't winning this game. I mean, offensively, if you look at the stats, there's stats coming out, like, this is one of the worst games Josh Allen has played since pre-COVID, all that. I mean, it was just horrible, horrible game for the Bills. And like I said, for the Falcons, that was an awesome win for them, massive win for them, but they were home. Now they just got to figure out how to do that. If they can figure out how to do this on the road, they might be a legit issue. But their whole thing is, like, they play so good at home, play amazing, that for whatever reason they go on the road and they just stink. But something I did hear recently, shout out to Preeta Schrager. Zach Robinson, their offensive coordinator, was in the booth on the sideline a lot more now. And he's starting to, it seems like, look them, obviously when you're on the sideline, you're able to look the players in the eyes a little bit more, actually get the interactions, everything. Starts to seem like maybe that has a little bit of clicking to the offense. It seems like that might be why it's working out for them. That does it for score-wise and everything. Let's go over some news and some small stuff to see if I missed. The Rams are getting rid of C.J. Gardner-Johnson after amicable mutual decision after one game. And he was there for a week and he's already gone. That's just hilarious, honestly. I don't even know if he played, honestly. I genuinely couldn't tell you. I don't think he did, but there's a chance. Devin Lloyd will not travel to London to face the Rams because of a calf injury. That's going to be a huge loss for the Jags. Garrett Wilson expected to miss multiple weeks with a knee injury. We talked about that. Dalton Kincaid. Oh, wait, that was for Monday night. Brian Branch, he had an issue with Juju Smith-Schuster at the end of the game. So he's going to be suspended for one game after a little fight they caused. The Mike Tomlin thing, when he's questioning the Browns GM over that Joe Flacco trade, that is very unlike Mike Tomlin. So that was kind of something awesome to hear. We're basically just like, what the hell are we doing, man? What the? If you're looking at both ways, like, obviously the Bengals are going to be much better with Joe Flacco, but as a guy who it seems like Tom's very scared of Joe Flacco, seems like so. That was kind of funny. We talked about Brian Callahan getting fired. Mike McCoy is going to be named the interim. Rams Akua. Sean McVay came out and said he's day-to-day with a sprained ankle, but we do not trust Sean McVay around here with his reports because his reports are very, very misleading. So there's a very good chance that Puka might not play in this game. And you also got to think. So remember, he's saying he's uncertain if Puka's going to play. If you go to the Rams schedule, the Rams are playing overseas. They play the Jaguars. They're on a bye. Then they play the Saints. There is a very high and likely chance they sit Puka this week, bye, then get him back. That would be kind of what I lean towards happening. So I'm probably going to stay away from. I'm going to stay away from Puka playing this week. I'm going to assume that he might be out. So, Devontae Adams, get ready to have a lot of targets come your way probably Sunday. If I had to guess. Darius Smith is retiring after 11 seasons. I think he retired basically before the game. Almost, which... He signed a deal with the Eagles in September. Oh, I guess it was after the game because they played Thursday. But yeah, he said at the beginning of the season he didn't think he was going to retire. I guess just after a couple weeks, he was just like, yeah, I'm good on this, man. So he did retire. Shout out to him, though, for a hell of a career. Making 11 seasons in the NFL, that's pretty damn good. Warner, yeah, broken, dislocated ankle. That was just horrible, man. I feel awful for him. The Tua situation is just... They wasn't buckled up, baby. Shout out Rico. I think we're good on the news. I'm just reading quickly to see if we missed anything. But they wasn't buckled up, baby. I might need to get that clipped and add it to the show. That'd be hilarious. But yeah, I think that does it for the news, really. So let's go over some college now. And just talk about, Texas A&M's going to be missing Le'Veon Moss for a little bit. That's actually really tough for them. But let's go over some college scores for the weekend, like I said, and just talk about some of the big games that will end with the top 25. For Week 7 in college football, there's action from Wednesday night all the way to Saturday. Friday, we had South Florida cover for us, so we gave out. Shout out to them for that. Washington beat Rutgers. Notre Dame wins by 30-29. So, 29 over NC State. Minnesota squeaks out a win over Purdue. They were able to steal it at the end. Alabama beats Missouri by 3. That was a really fun game to watch. UCLA, 38-13, smackdown against Michigan State. The offense might be legit, man. Ohio State, 34-16 win over Illinois. Their defense is going to be a problem, man. I mean, there's a really good chance this team's going to repeat. One game I do want to bring up, too, as well. Houston, Oklahoma State, 39-17. Don't want to bring it up for the score. Want to bring it up to shout out them boys in the bleachers, man. The fans can make... Excuse me, I started choking. The fans can make an environment and make something truly, truly special. And shout them boys with them shirts off, man. That was awesome to see, especially because you saw it gradually growing. Because I saw I ended up seeing the video of it gradually growing. That's really awesome, man. Because yeah, for a team that's 1-5, they fired their long-time tenured head coach. Their season seems to be done. There's not much going on. That was something that even some of the players were coming out and being like, yeah, that was awesome to see. Florida State, they lose 34-31 to Pitt. Their defense didn't show up. That's really sucks for them because now at 3-3, I mean, they have to be perfect, pray they get in the ACC title game, then win that to make the playoffs. But their playoff hopes are probably done with that loss, which is really sad for them. Cincinnati gets a massive win to improve to 5-1. SMU destroys Stanford. Ole Miss wins 21-24 for Washington State. They play Alabama next week, so that was they play Georgia next week, so that was one where I just assumed they were overlooking the opponent, just not totally locked into that game, but able to do enough to win. Man, game of the weekend. Indiana, Oregon. Indiana 30, Oregon 20. Shout out them Hoosiers. Shout out teams. You want to talk about teams making us money, man. Those Hoosiers, they've been really good to us ever since Kirk Cignetti went there. Ever since Kirk Cignetti went there, we talked about it last season, which watching him with James Madison, seeing how awesome he was, that was truly special. Got a little bit more exposure to him as well. I forget what it was from. I know he's on from that time when they went to JMU with the Pat McAfee show as well. Betting wise, I was able to get a little bit more exposure to him too. And then there was something else. I can't remember what it was, but I saw him in. So I was kind of aware of the Cignetti guy, and then he went to Indiana. I just can't get over it, man. We talked about it last year, and I'll bring it up again because it's just truly awesome where it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, you know this program's going to be. I'll admit, I got it wrong with West Virginia this year. Next year will probably be a better year for them, but yeah, this year they are. I mean, to be fair, they lost their best player on their roster too, so that doesn't help at all. But yeah, with Indiana, it was just one of those things where it's like, yeah, you know they're going to be good. Now it's to the point where it's like, oh, they might be good for a while. Because beating Oregon the way they did, that was truly an impressive win. And you start looking at Oregon, like, I know they're still a good team. They're probably going to be a decent team. Should make the college football playoffs. Should at least win a round or two. But you start looking at their resume, and it gets a little bit questionable, especially when you have Penn State losing 22-21 to Northwestern. And Penn State's at home. After that game, you just can't have Coach Franklin come back next week, they say. So Penn State got rid of James Franklin after, I think it was 12 years there. Really crazy because, yeah, this was a team where their whole season was national championship or bust, basically, and they are not reaching national championship. They lost to Northwestern. They lost to UCLA. They'll be lucky to make a bowl at this point, it seems like, especially because they lost Drew Aller for the season. Really, really tough loss. Sucks for him, too, because it's a kid who had all the hype for the NFL draft, comes back, plays his heart out for his team. Season goes horrible. Coach gets fired. He's done for the season with a lower leg injury they haven't come out with. It's just sad for Penn State, man. It's just crazy. And it happens every year. Remember, a top 10 team in the preseason completely falls out. We had multiple this year, but boy, I don't think any of us thought it was going to be Penn State. What a whirlwind of like a 16 to 17 days for James Franklin. Went from just barely losing to Oregon in overtime to losing to UCLA to losing Northwestern being fired. TCU loses 28-41 against Kansas State, so their hope at a Big 12 championship kind of just died there. UNLV Air Force 51-48. UNLV, man, 6-0. Shout out UNLV, 6-0 under Dan Mullen. Just joined UNLV this year, and he has them boys rolling. Georgia Tech, they went 35-20 over Virginia Tech. Oklahoma beats Texas. Excuse me. Texas beats Oklahoma 23-6. Arch looked a lot more comfortable, looked a lot better in this game. Old Dominion. Salute to you. It was nice seeing you. They will not be making the College Football Playoffs. They lose to Marshall 48-24. They were looking like a team that might be sneaky good and might have a chance to make it, but they ultimately fall short. Maryland, Nebraska. Nebraska wins 34-31. Absolute heartbreaker for us, Maryland. Future. I mean, this team, man. They've covered for us 2 weeks in a row, but that's nice. But goddamn, 2 weeks in a row, they have a chance to hit the season total win for us, get us that cash out pretty early, and over by October, we could have had it for 2 weeks in a row now, and no dice either time. Iowa State loses to Colorado. They get the field thrown on them twice. Their season is probably over when it comes to college football playoffs as well. Tennessee has a close one against Arkansas, 34-31. Texas A&M wins 34-17 in the Swamp. 37-0 beatdown. Iowa wins against Wisconsin. Speaking of coaches getting fired, probably saw the end of Luke Fickell. It's going to be a matter of when, not if at this point, I feel like. Michigan loses 13-31 to USC. Georgia wins 20-10 against Auburn in another game that was, you want to talk about them rigging sports. A lot of questionable calls by the refs in this one. I'll admit, I did not fully watch this game. I was able to watch the tail end of some of the stuff at the end, and then rewatch some of the highlight stuff when it comes to like what the refs did and a lot of the other stuff. But didn't watch the game live. But it seemed like it was one where if Auburn was able to go up 17-0 at that one point, they probably put it away. That one play flips the whole game kind of, and it's just like, man. Football is a crazy sport because, I mean, it's literally one play like that. You go up 17-0, game's probably over instead. Makes it a game. Chaos King happens. Texas Tech then win 42-17 against Kansas. Shout out to the Cover 3 podcast. Clemson beats Booty Cheeks 41-10. That's Boston College for those of you who don't know. LSU wins 20-10 against South Carolina. BYU wins in double overtime against Arizona. Arizona State gets destroyed by Utah, and Utah State did not win for us against Hawaii. San Diego State, 44-10, another victory for them. Looking like potentially a college football playoff team, question mark? So the final thing I want to go over today, we'll talk about the AP Top 25. Because like I said, I don't think news-wise we have too much to go into. We talk about Le'Veon Moss. Morton's day-to-day for Texas Tech, but he's been injured a lot all season. Belichick is not exploring exit strategies, but man, that's gotten messy. Trent Dilfer out as the UAB head coach. That was another coach I meant to talk about. Trent Bray is out at Oregon State. So he after his 0-7 start, tough for them, man. That's ever since the Pac-12 fell apart too. That's just been a tough little sledding for them. Like I said, let's talk HG Top 25. Ohio State 1, Miami, Florida 2. Shout out Indiana, man. They ranked at number 3, highest ranking ever for a Hoosier team, ever. And by the way, that win against Oregon, that was their first top 10 ranked win ever as a program, ever. I think it was top 5. I think for sure it was top 5 ever. I think it was even top 10 ever. So shout out to Indiana, man. Shout out to Chris Ignetti. I hope he stays at Indiana because there's a really good chance they potentially might name that field after. He's getting something named after him. He might even get a statue. I mean, that man single-handedly is turning around the program. I mean, he has recruits wanting to go there. I mean, you could argue if Notre Dame wasn't in Indiana, that might be the best football program now in the state of Indiana. I mean, they've surpassed Purdue as of right now in my eyes. I mean, shit, Purdue's been in a dumpster for a fat minute recently, and Indiana's now on the ups. And it seems like, yeah, there's going to be, especially in Indiana now, it seems like there's going to be a lot of competition. A lot of it might be going to the Hoosiers, man. Texas A&M is 4, Ole Miss 5, Alabama 6, Texas Tech 7, Oregon 8, Georgia 9, LSU 10, Tennessee 11, Georgia Tech 12, Notre Dame 13. Sneaking back up, man. Big game against USC this week. I think the loser of Notre Dame USC, good chance they're not making the playoffs. Oklahoma, BYU, Missouri, Vanderbilt, Virginia, 19 South Florida, 20 USC, 21 Texas, 22 Memphis, 23 Utah, 24 Cincinnati, 25 Nebraska. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for support. I really do appreciate it. I will be back in this feed on Wednesday, which is tomorrow, to do Pick'em Thursday on a Wednesday. We're going to go over some my bets and everything for NFL Week 7. NFL Week 7, we'll go over that. We'll just start off with Pick'em, NFL bets for Week 7. Then we'll do college bets. Then we'll probably talk about a little bit of futures. We'll just quickly peek at the future market. If I remember, I won't lie to you, I might forget to do it. I'll write it down potentially to see if we want to do it. But I always look at the futures market. Look at some of the stuff like, hey, maybe lean here. This is what it looks like. But we'll at least talk about like MVP, some of the other stuff, just to be like, hey, this is where teams are starting to rank now. Because we were heading to Week 7. I mean, we're already a third of the way through the season now, and it's crazy to think. Third of the way through the season, man. And I won't lie to you, I'm excited for Pick'em tomorrow. Spoiler alert a little bit before we get it. The last thing we'll say before we get out of here. Your boy's in second place now in Pick'em. Could have passed Keith if the Commanders win. If the Commanders win, I'd get 3 points closer to him. But now we're in second place, which is awesome. I haven't been in second place in a fat minute. It's been like almost, I think, like a year and a half since I've been that high in the ranking. So it's one of those things where it's like, pick record-wise, too. I mean, like I said, we'll spoil it a little bit. Pick record-wise, I am having a insane year. The leader in the clubhouse, the 65-27-1 record. The next best person has 62-30, 61-31 are the next ones. 65-27-1. I am very proud of that. I won't lie to you. Some of the numbers still fucking me a bit, but overall, I'm very proud of what we've been doing in Pick'em and what we've been doing on the show. Surely it's felt like these past couple of years, like I think we're on year 3 now of doing this, year 3 or year 4, and feels like, yeah, every year learn a little bit more, get a little bit better. It's just, can't wait, man. I'm excited. Another week's upon us. Can't wait. I'll see everyone back in this feed tomorrow. Till then.